Welcome to another episode of the Carpe Fide podcast, where if the shoe fits, you wear it.
And if the truth hurts, you bear it.
I am Justin Gruber.
And I am Jesse Gruber.
And today we hope you will seize the faith. Welcome to episode 178, everybody, of the Carpe Fide podcast.
I can't believe we're still going.
I think
this is the most consistent I've been with anything.
It's been years at this point.
Except
Jesse.
Breathing.
Yeah, but, you know, if you ask your wife, sometimes you stop that at night.
Okay. Those apneas, man, they come for the best of us.
They sure do. Side sleeping helps, everybody. Just so you know, side sleeping helps. You know what? Sleep on your sides. Breathing stays alive. We're going to do a Explain It Like I'm 5 episode tonight. Explain It Like I'm 5. ELI5.
The process of taking something and explaining it to someone like they're 5.
Which is treating you like you're 5 and don't know, explain it like I'm 5. Or what it would mean. That's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to start with a couple of just madness has happened. The whole world is melting down this week. It's amazing. It is. I'm sorry. Like, so many people are like, why are you a Christian? Why are you celebrating these things? You can't celebrate these things. Immigrants are being arrested and losing their homes. I said, immigrants? Like, we're rounding up legal immigrants? I have a serious problem with that. It's like, oh, wait. Oh,
it's
no.
Like breaking the law.
You mean oh, I see. You mean something different. Canada, Mexico, they're all realizing exactly who is running things and has kept them safe for decades and decades and decades. Now, look, we have a lot of Canadian listeners. We have Canadian friends. I gotta tell you, finding a lot of agreement on the order of things. And you know what? By golly, if there wasn't a better win, we're going to get rid of those pesky identity months. So praise the Lord, which is a shame. I had a great, t-shirt idea that was pretty simple for June, but I guess, we're getting rid of Pride Month. So it's all good. Never mind. Unnecessary. We'll just run this down in order. We'll explain it like I'm 5. And Jesse's got lots of commentary that he's going to jump in on. So, Jesse.
You're excited about it.
I'm excited about Jesse's commentary. We are up to about 3,500 deportations. We have caught known violent criminals who are
terrorists
illegally in our country.
Rapists. All the people that Phil Murphy let out of prison during COVID.
Or live above his garage. Sex traffickers.
Oh my gosh, we didn't even talk about that.
No, we haven't. You know what? Honestly, I don't even want. I get so upset.
Wait, NewJersey.com. His office responded to NewJersey.com and said that it was just a miscommunication.
Yeah, I bet
everyone misunderstood what he was saying.
I guarantee you, after that interview, he had a phone call from Tom Homan. Said, excuse me, Mr. Murphy, do we need to have a talk?
Oh my word.
And that little weaselly little wuss coward was like, oh no, I was just kidding. It was a joke. That's how Governor Murphy sounds. Unless you see him and then you realize that's probably how he should sound. Ugh. I can't even look at him. He's gross.
He's really gross looking.
He made that little boo-boo. And for those of you that don't know, he had a little interview where he suggested that he was protecting an illegal immigrant, and he said, if you're not going to get them, you're going to have to come arrest me. Let's see if they'll come arrest me, which I do believe they would gladly do.
I have no reservation that
and
they would do that.
If he's confused, he should just ask Bob Menendez how it's going in federal prison. The long saga of how bad New Jersey senators are. Just so you know, Senator Bob Menendez got 11 years in federal prison for taking bribes and aiding and abetting a foreign nation, namely the nation of Egypt. That just came out this week. So
his wife actually is being charged as well, but she has
she's next. She's next.
Yeah, she apparently has health problems. So
yeah, she's married to Bob Menendez. So it's health problem number 1. All right, explain it like I'm five. Let's go in order here. 3,500 illegal immigrants who are violent criminals have been arrested and are being in the process of being fully removed from the country. In fact, some were just sent to Gitmo, which here is kind of vacant right now and has plenty of space. So might as well hold those violent criminals out of our country while we
Space
are.
is space. Just
Now,
ask
I mean,
Elon.
no, space is space. I think God said that first. So I think he did.
I believe he said, "And let it be space."
Guys, check it out. Look at all this space I made. um, sorry, back to the illegal
All the space, and it was good.
So 30, and now I'm told, and this is where we need to explain it like I'm five. I've been told all over social media that there are a lot of Christians who are celebrating this, and that they are bad Christians because they should be loving these illegal immigrants / criminals, really horrible, just horrible people, just bad human beings. And in fact, if you are on social media, you may have seen the verse flying around, Leviticus 19:34, which reads, "quote The stranger who resides with you shall be to you as the native among you, and you shall love him as yourself, for you are aliens in the land of Egypt. I am the Lord your God." That is kind of floating around on the ethers of social media by people who don't read their Bible and do not understand what it says. So let me explain it. Let's explain it like you're five. Okay, little Timmy, go ahead and take a seat. Let's try to understand. When you need to be somewhere, like maybe you need a place to stay, if you just show up and put a tent up in my front yard, that's illegal. Unless you come and say, "Hey, can I put a tent up here? I just need to spend the night." And then I can make a choice as to whether or not you stay on my property. And that's exactly how sojourning worked in the Bible. I know this is hard for people to understand. Abraham sojourned and had to go to the leaders of the lands in which he sojourned to see if he was allowed to sojourn there. The children of Israel and Moses in the Exodus, the very Exodus we're talking about through Leviticus, that Leviticus 19 mentions, they sojourned, had to go to.
Leviticus.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I should have just let it be.
Shut up, Jesse. Such a jerk. The children of Israel and Moses had to sojourn, and they went and requested the ability to sojourn in lands throughout the Exodus, as well as the fact that when sojourning was not allowed, it led to armed conflict at times throughout history, the biblical history. So I just want to explain that to you. A resident alien or sojourner was someone who was living in the land with permission.
With permission.
Yes, this is very key. This is gets to our earlier point. If our country was to round up and arrest immigrants, okay, no adjective, just immigrants, that would be illegal because immigrants are here legally and are subject to the rights and rule of law here in America. That's a key feature. And that is expressly what the Bible says when it's saying you need to treat those those sojourners and resident aliens as if they are citizens, because it immediately follows in Leviticus 19 talking about applying equal standards, weights, and measures, applying laws justly to all in the land. So that is how the Bible is to be read when we understand it. Now, the problem is most 5-year-olds understand this. So the simple reality that we have to explain it like you're 5 to adults is mildly disturbing. I just don't feel like this is a hard one. This isn't hard. To say someone is here illegally and to make them leave and go back to the place from which they came is not unloving. It's actually very loving to both the citizens of our country currently, all those waiting to legally immigrate, and to all those who have already legally immigrated into our country. In fact, to not do it would be unloving and unjust to all of those people, which is something none of those people that are telling you you're a bad Christian would ever say out loud. How's that sound?
I mean, that sounds just about right. I mean, like, it's just stupid. It's just
Amen.
it's in the name. It's in the name, illegal immigrant. Like, they're like, oh, they're not criminals. They are. They are. And it's unfortunate because some criminals are really nice people. But the problem is that when you don't do things according to the law, you have to pay the consequences of said law that you are violating. It's like, I have to do it. You have to do it. You can't just murder someone and just be like, okay.
Unless
Like,
you're a mother with a child in your womb.
unless you're a mother with a child in a room in all 50 states, yes.
But sorry.
But like,
we always
but
like to always point that out.
they're like, oh, but Jimmy, he's a great neighbor and all this stuff. Yeah, sure, maybe that's fine. I'm not even going to argue that point. But that point is besides the point that Jimmy came here illegally, and Jimmy needs to be held accountable for that because Jimmy is mooching off of everyone else's hard work and labor, and
Yeah.
that's not mooching off of other people's hard work and labor is not a human right. So, like, yeah, it's just so stupid. They forgot the illegal part of the illegal immigrant, and it's just like
They also ignore Acts where God says, where it specifically states that God has appointed nations and their boundaries.
Right. It's like you can't just break into Walmart after it closes, right? Right? That would be trespassing. That would
You
be
can't just go into
illegal.
Walmart when it's open, right?
Right.
If they tell you you can't be there, it turns out they can
That
they have
too.
a right to deny service if necessary. And does that mean they hate illegal? They hate immigrants? No, it just means
It's
they
like
hate illegal immigration into their store.
if Jimmy comes on my property, but I don't want Jimmy there, Jimmy's got to leave or pay the consequences of Jimmy's poor decision. Like,
Yes, that's
Jimmy
correct.
could be a really nice guy, but if I don't want him on my lawn, Jimmy's got to get off my lawn. You know what I mean? Like,
Right. And then if you
it's
want to have like some sort of weird conversation about Christian charity at that point, like we can have it, certainly. But like
sure, but like,
on my property, I want to protect my family first. Do I know Jimmy well enough? Is that appropriate? I think there's a lot of
Right.
questions to ask in this hypothetical, but the hypothetical is obvious. It's so obvious.
It's so obvious because nobody wants it. Nobody wants it happening to their stuff. They think that. I mean, the federal government is too big and too powerful. But
Well, I mean, just
besides the
give
point,
Doge a little more time.
they
We're getting there.
they think that like the president and like our federal government, it's almost like it doesn't matter. You can violate those laws, but the laws that are closest to me, no, definitely don't violate. Like that's not how it works. It's just not how it works.
That is not how it works. You're correct. That's explaining it like I'm 5 for deportation. Now, that's just one story. So many stories to get. Can we combine the tariff stories real quick? Let me just combine them.
Yeah,
Explain
there's
it
been
like
a bunch of threatened tariffs. Yeah,
Explain it like I'm 5. No, we can cut China's out. China's we want to trade war with China. China, that's different than what happened in our friendly neighbor countries of Canada. I said states. Freudian slip. Our friendly neighboring countries of Canada and Mexico. The problem here is that everyone on the internet's freaking out that Trump threatened tariffs on Canada and Mexico are close allies and trade partners. And the threat went out, and everyone lost their minds. How dare he be unkind to our neighbors? We have long-standing trade agreements with these nations. They are our border nations, and we are friendly with them. And this is not how you treat friends. and that was the cry on social media. This was horrible and unprecedented. And the reality is, the only thing unprecedented about it was that Trump is transparent. Uh, if you think this is the first time that these tariffs have been threatened, you're insane. It's the first time they have been threatened out loud, and obviously, and threatened by someone who probably would do exactly that. And so, um, what happened was Trump pretty clearly said, "Hey, we're not going to be the only ones policing our border from inside our country anymore. You guys are going to also police the border on your side, and you're going to do it now, or there's going to be serious problems, like real serious, crushingly bankrupt your nation problems."
Hmm. The difference between Trump and Biden is that Biden can make a threat and everyone knows he's not going to do it. The thing about Trump's threats.
Wait a second. Biden didn't know he made a threat. Good. I'm sorry.
Well,
he didn't know.
Well, that's besides the point.
Listen here, bud. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. It's true. It's just,
President, why did you cut funding to our allies in Europe? I didn't do that.
I did. Wait, what?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You did. I have the packet here. You definitely did.
Dog-faced pony soldier, I'll take you out back behind the shed, like I did in high school. Touch my hairy legs. Sorry, good.
But yeah, so I mean, if Biden threatened a tariff, we know that what's probably going to happen is it's probably going to, start, and then it's actually probably going to cost the American taxpayer a lot of money. But the great thing about President Trump is that he can threaten a tariff, and he knows that tariff will absolutely cripple the other country, and we'll be minorly inconvenienced for a little bit of time. And honestly, with all of the other things going on in our federal government currently, we'll probably recoup that money fairly quickly.
Yes.
But yeah. So I mean, it definitely has, like, you see it all over the world, really. I mean, even before Trump was in office, because things were changing even before he got in, and like formally inaugurated. But yeah, it's it is interesting. But I would say his threats definitely worked, because Justin Trudeau was like, maybe Canadians need to buy more Canadian product, and then the next day he was like, never mind, we're going to shore up this border a little bit.
Well, and it's funny because it portrays the Ordo Amoris that JD Vance mentioned. One of the key features of the Great Commission, which is basically what the Ordo Amoris is kind of calling us to. We are to love and reach with the truth right into the smallest unit, right? So we are made disciples. We seek to make our family disciples. We seek to make our community disciples, our county disciples, our state disciples, our country disciples, our nation disciples, right? Our world disciples. And it's a concentric circle outflowing, all of which starts with the most intimate connections and flows outward, which is essentially, that's your Cliff Notes version of what Ordo Amoris is. It's that biblical principle. And essentially, when we're talking about our nation and the job of the president, it's his job to ensure that the nation's interests are upheld. And the joy of being in America is that as the interests of our nation are upheld, it actually is a great good for Canada, Mexico, many nations that are allies with us around the world. So the reality is, if we are policing our border, but Canada and Mexico are not policing their side of the border, it only increases the trouble that comes into our country. The flow of drugs is pretty intense, and part of the problem is the necessary elements to create fentanyl come from China, which is why we have also tariffed China and will not be moving those tariffs, because China will doesn't want to do anything. They want us to die. That's China's goal. If you would remember, I don't know, circa 2019 and 2020, they're all about it. Um, so if I were to explain it like I'm five, a tariff is a tax on goods coming into a country. When Canada and um, Mexico sell goods into our country, a tariff would be a tax, a fee levied on those products collected by the federal government. That would be a cost that often is passed on to the consumer, but it's what you might call, if you were to refer to it as a tax, it's what you would refer to as a value added tax. That means it's a tax on something that you really don't realize unless you consume the product that is being taxed. For example, if there was a tax on metal, a tariff on metal coming into the country, but you saw that certain metal products were now more expensive and didn't buy them, you actually did not assume any of the cost of that tariff because you simply did not buy those products that are being made with the extra costed metal. That's essentially what a tariff is. Now, that doesn't matter because what happened was Canada and Mexico had to acknowledge it's the most retarded thing. Trudeau has like a 20%, 28% favorability rating. Got this bump because he goes on and acts like this big tough guy on television. Like, oh, we'll never give in. We'll raise more tariffs. Except that within 24 hours, he was like, you know what? We're really going to enact that law we passed, but haven't really done anything with about spending a whole lot of money and shoring up the border. We're going to go ahead and do that after I had a wonderful conversation with President Trump on the phone. You think? Mexico was even faster. They were like 8 hours. They were like, we're going to pass tariffs. And then it was like, actually, we're going to send 10,000 federal troops to the border to secure our border. I had a great conversation with President Trump on the phone. You think everybody on the internet was so crazy, especially with Canada. Like, as sad as it is, Mexico is obviously significantly less. They have less money. They have less influence. But everybody was so upset about Canada. America doesn't subsidize Canada. America doesn't protect Canada. America protects Mexico and Canada, both of them. Canada is, I don't know if Canadian listeners, you're aware of this. Canada has more landmass than America. It is larger than America. Okay. Canada spends about 40 billion on their defense. The United States spends nearly 900 billion on its defense because it also defends Canada and Mexico and a lot of other places simply by having the strongest military fighting force in the history of the world. Also, Alaska is that very important border nation, America, with Russia to Canada. So yes, absolutely, America subsidizes Canada. And I'm glad we do because I love my Canadian friends. Now, I wish that our subsidizing didn't also allow them to pretend to have a government, which is really just a bunch of communist, hippie, World Economic Forum patsies. I wish that was not the case. But that is the case. It's also a great sadness to a great many of my friends in Canada that is the case. However, it is true. And also, it's good. Because we want a safe and prosperous Canada. We want a safe Mexico. It's also why the cartels are now labeled terrorists. That's why, because we want to get rid of them and not allow them to pump drugs into Mexico and then through our border. It's a bad thing. It's not good.
No,
it's affecting
not good.
us. Sorry,
not good.
No, it's not good.
I see the effects of the drugs in the ER all the time, and it's just absolutely insane. Like the amount of drugs that are becoming more and more difficult to reverse and treat, just all the time. Young kids, all sorts of people, all sorts of people. It's a real problem. It's a problem that a lot of people don't see unless they've lost someone to drugs, and then it's very real to them. Or you work in ERs that see, or ICUs that see these types of things all the time.
Yes, and fentanyl, even through our northern border, has become an increasing problem, which is really sad because The funny part about Canada is Canada has a resilient border already, and they do have good policies in place. It's actually a lot less hard for Canada to begin policing its border with us, even though it is a larger border, because they have good policy in place. They have better policy in place than Mexico, and so it's not a hard switch for them to have simply said, "Oh, okay, we're going to take seriously now what you're saying." That's all Trump wanted. By the way, the steady increase of fentanyl across our northern border crept up to almost 43 pounds this past year of confiscated fentanyl. And you're like, 43 pounds isn't a lot. And you're like, you're right. I pick up a 50-pound dumbbell in the gym all the time. Except that 43 pounds of fentanyl can kill about 9.7 million Americans, which suddenly means it's a big crisis when you're talking about 9.7 million Americans. That's a lot. That's a lot of people that needs to be defended. That's not okay. We can't just embrace that level of insane evil flowing into the country.
Debauchery.
Yeah. So
Debauchery.
explaining it like I'm five would say what Trump did was offer some truth to our friends, and our friends took that truth to heart and made good decisions. It's pretty much all that happened. If I was to explain it to you like you're five, everyone can calm down. They can all calm down. It's going to be okay. Honestly, in Canada, if you don't want to buy American spirits anymore, right, like all our delicious whiskeys and bourbons, and we understand you have perfectly fine Canadian alcohols and liquors as well. I understand. It's fine. It's not a problem.
We've partaken in some.
Yeah, it's totally fine if you don't want to do that. And I wouldn't blame it. I wouldn't blame you. And honestly, you know what? I'll still buy maple syrup. You don't have just hats off to you. It's all good. But I mean, at the same time, exactly what was always going to happen is exactly what happened. And Trudeau is a giant coward. And if you believe for what believed his strongman routine on TV for 5 seconds, then you clearly forgot that everything in your country was literally ripped away from you for 3 years, like just ripped completely away from you. Yeah, that's the level of cowardice he has. Remember the truckers? Remember all the truckers in the Capitol? Remember them all?
Oh, never forget the truckers, bro. Never forget the truckers.
Yeah, he crushed them with his goons. Remember all that? Yeah, that's who he is. Okay, so anyway, explain it like I'm five.
Truckers, man, they're the real ones.
They're the real. Them and farmers in Denmark, they're the reals. The real reals. Explain it like I'm five. So I don't know if you're aware, but there was some news that Pete Hegseth is disgusting, homophobic, transphobic, racist, misogynist, because he doesn't. He's no longer going to celebrate Identity Months at the DoD. Did you see this, Jesse? This is very interesting.
Sounds about right. It sounds about right.
Yeah, this is fantastic news.
Tracks with everything I know about what the media says about Pete Hegseth.
Yeah, I mean, he's just disgusting and evil. And so, for those of you that think that Pete Hegseth is evil, yeah, let me just explain to you what happened. He said that identity months are dead at the DoD. Now, I'll read on and then I'll explain to you what he means. He says our unity and purpose are instrumental to meeting the department's warfighting mission. Efforts to divide the force, to put one group ahead of another, erode camaraderie and threaten mission execution. The Pentagon should be laser focused on winning wars, not celebrating identity groups. Identity politics threaten mission execution, plain and simple. You're like, wow, that's a lot. What does he mean? What is happening? Well, what he said was specifically that the directive he gave will discontinue the observance of National African American Black History Month, Women's History Month, Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month, Pride Month, National Hispanic Heritage Month, National Disability Employment Awareness Month, and National American Indian Heritage Month. Instead, and you're like, oh my gosh, he's getting rid of all those months. Oh no, how will we celebrate them? Instead, the DoD is encouraging installations and units to celebrate military heroes of all races, genders, and backgrounds based on their service, not their identity.
So you mean everything that everyone was saying was wrong? Again?
Yes.
No way.
Yeah, I know. It turns out he wants everyone's merits to be celebrated inside the military, which is ostensibly a merit-based unit. The whole thing is about how did you perform is the question. It's like it'd be like me walking onto the field of the Super Bowl in an Eagles jersey and expecting them to celebrate me because I'm there. Except it's a merit-based game, and I would be a huge detriment to the team.
You're no Cooper DeJean, brother. You're no Cooper DeJean.
No. Also because like, what's he turning 20? And I'm like, more
He's
than
not turning 20. He's not that young, is he?
He's not. How old's he turning? 22? 22?
Well, now I got to find out because I feel like
is not a safety. Cooper DeJean is. Why doesn't it just pop up? There's Wikipedia. He was born in 2003.
Yeah, he's going to be 22 in 3 days. His birthday's February 9th. His birthday is on the Super Bowl?
Yeah, him and Saquon. You didn't know this?
Oh, happy birthday, bud.
What number? Hey, what number is Saquon?
26.
What number is Cooper DeJean?
33.
What's that equal?
59.
Oh
boy.
You didn't know this conspiracy?
The proof is in the pudding.
I can't believe you didn't know that. Sorry, we just nerded out in the Eagles Super Bowl. Sorry. I apologize to everyone.
Go Birds.
Back to Pete Hegseth. It turns out, if I'm going to explain it to you like I'm 5, here's what I'm going to explain to you. Pete Hegseth does not hate Black History Month or Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month. Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh. Moana. Sorry. He doesn't hate National Hispanic Heritage Month or National Disability Employment Awareness Month. Man, that's a long month. He doesn't hate the National American Indian Heritage Month. He doesn't. I mean, I don't know about Pride Month. I mean, Pride is a sin. We have to be very careful with Pride. He probably doesn't hate the people that celebrate Pride Month because that's not what he does. And he doesn't hate Black. He doesn't hate Women's History Month. He doesn't hate these things. He doesn't want to cause separation and division in something that's supposed to be a cohesive unit based upon merit by achieving mission, greatness, and execution. Hello.
It's almost like we're putting words into other people's mouths again. I hate it when people do that.
Yeah.
You know what? People hate it when people do that to them, but they are so willing to do it to other people. It is just outrageous.
My gosh, it's so true.
Outrageous.
It's so true.
The hypocrisy on that point in particular could be a whole podcast.
Yeah, I was trying to. I have to get some new flags to the house. My Appeal to Heaven flag is getting kind of raggedy, and my Whiskey Rebellion flag's a little busted. And I was looking at flags, and I put some flags in the cards, and I was like, back. You know, my wife lives with me, so that sounded dumb when I said it out loud. Me and my wife reside at the same.
Thank God.
Yeah, I know. Really, truly, that's weird. A weird marriage. Your wife doesn't live with you. So I like to ask her opinion because, you know, she has to see the flags, and the flags are kind of my thing. And I don't want to, you know, I mean, I would make my whole flag the front of a boat in a parade if I could. But I had a Jerusalem cross. I had a pretty BA black flag with a gold Jerusalem cross on it. And she's like, I like all of them except for the cross one. Darn it. She doesn't want me to put a Jerusalem cross up at the house. It's fine.
Why?
I don't know. I like the black and gold too. Black and gold was pretty good. They had a nice red and black one too. It was a red flag with a black cross on it. That was pretty cool. Anyway, just saying. Pete Hegseth. God wills it, my friend. God wills it. I was just gonna say, this is great. This is good for all of us to acknowledge. Pete Hegseth wants the military to focus on celebrating July 4th. You know, Veterans Day. That's what he wants. You know what? He really wants the military to focus on salute to service.
To float? Not just the Navy?
Focus. I'm so sorry, everyone. He wants the military to just the Navy.
It sunk in, didn't it?
It sunk in, did it? Oh. He wants the military. He really likes it when baseball and football have salute to service months. He likes those months. Like, those are the kind of months he wants to celebrate. He doesn't want everybody splitting off into all their, you know, intersexual coalition hierarchy of power structure stupid, because there's no time for that in the midst of gunfire and needing to perform mission critical maneuvers. Like, it's not okay. Like, you don't have to wonder, like, wait a second, should we Can we send Larry to do this? It is Asian Pacific or Pacific Islander Awareness Heritage Day. Like, no, that's not a thing. My gosh.
Right. You don't want to when you're in the foxhole. What you don't want to be wondering is like, what political fight, what political ideology fight we're going to be having. As we're dragging Saddam out of the hole. Like,
Yeah,
that's
no,
not.
that's not a good time to wonder if we've got enough trans representation in the at the arresting ceremony. It's not time for that.
And like the point
Did you ask the dog its gender preferred pronouns? That's not no. We don't have time. Nope, we're not doing it.
nope,
Not
it's just
right
a
now.
good boy. It's just a good boy.
Dog's a good boy. Such a good boy. The best boy.
But like the crazy like, I mean, I guess it's not like the craziest thing, but like one of the things that amuses me so much is that it's like, oh, they're taking away all this stuff. It's like, but like the American flag covers all that. Like do you know what I mean? Like, if you're an
Yes, yes,
American, the American flag is your flag. Like, it is everyone's flag. It's not a gay person's flag. It's the American flag. If you're an American, this is your flag. Everything that you benefit from and reap, all the freedoms that you have, it's summed up in this flag. You don't need a separate flag for that.
Right, which is why the trans flag is so offensive, because it can't be everyone's flag. It's set up specifically to not be able to be everyone's flag.
It is a divisive flag, yes.
Yes. Ironically, they're so inclusive that they're divisive. That's the idea of the American flag, because we're a creedal nation. And
yeah, like, what flag did they leave the white people? Just the white flag, and that sends the wrong message,
Yeah, I mean, I want to be a black person and have a black flag instead, because no quarter, baby.
No quarter.
I mean, I'm not French. I don't want a white flag. sorry, my French Canadians. That wasn't what I was implying. It's just funny. It's a joke. Calm down. So that's explaining that, like, you're five. Hopefully that came out pretty obvious. This next one's a little harder to understand. People are losing.
There's so much content.
I know. I'm trying to fly through it so I can cover as many of these. I'm telling you, this week was insane. Everyone lost their mind.
Everyone lost their mind.
Everyone loses their minds. It's crazy. All right, real quick. Just I want to try to get this one in. Everyone freaked out because President. Now, I just want to point out before I say this. Everything Trump has done is exactly what Trump said he would do, repeatedly, ad nauseum. Every person that's been up for confirmation is exactly the person that Trump said would be in these positions. These people shared the stage with him for the entire campaign. None of this, absolutely none of this, is a surprise. And just to be clear, everyone that's freaking out, I just want to remind everybody, Trump was elected saying he would do all of these things. That's why he was elected. So I just going to point that out. Now, I said that because what I want to say is everyone lost their minds that Donald J. Trump was Donald D. Trump. Guys, I'm tired. If it's not obvious at this point, I don't know what to do. This is a free podcast. There's not 10,000 ads, and I'm not telling you to buy gold or, geez, it's a free podcast. I'm tired. Leave it alone. Ron John himself, Donald J. Trump, wants to get rid. He wants to dismantle and remove the Department of Education. Everyone lost their minds. Literally, so many Republicans since Reagan have said they would dismantle the Department of Education, but Trump's literally drafting an executive order for it. He will need more than that to get it done. He's nominated Linda McMahon to be his education secretary, and they asked him. She's not been confirmed yet by the Senate, but why did you nominate someone if you want to get rid of the Department of Education, and he said, "I told Linda, I hope you do a great job and put yourself out of a job. I want her to put herself out of a job." That's what Trump said. He literally told her to put herself out of a job.
I'm sure he'll find another place for her.
I think she'll be just fine. I think she's going to make it, guys. It's going to require. It would definitely require a move of Congress, particularly to get rid of department head type positions. I think you need 60 votes in the Senate, which they only have 53 Republicans in. Not insurmountable or anything. I'm just saying, like, there are aspects of it that will bitterly cling because government. This is it's a net good. I mean, the poor senator from where's he from? What is he from? Minnesota or Montana? The guy that puts out the same one every year to end the Department of Education, the same bill. You know who I'm talking about, right?
I don't actually.
No, I thought for sure you knew him. I'm not going to do this live one. I don't want to do this live one later. I hate it when I mention something and I shouldn't have.
The guy. The guy that did the thing.
Massey. Whew, I did it. Yeah, Massey. Yeah,
he does exist.
I know. Thomas Massey puts it out every year. Bill to abolish the use of Department of Education, and it's one of those. It's the way every bill should be written. It's one page. It says perfect. This bill abolishes the U.S. Department of Education and all of its entities. It's like it's fantastic. But apart from him, like, there's not really a lot of move for this. Why? Because there's huge amounts of money involved in this process. There's huge amounts of money going to unions and lobbyists and senators, and there's just a lot of money passing hands here, and it's a great way to fudge money all around. I mean, we are spending $30,000 per pupil in the United States, and it's not like that's churning out world-class mathletes. I'm just saying, like, we're not. I mean, most of our TikTok is people dancing around without enough clothes on or hitting each other with pool noodles. So, like, we're not. We're winning Olympics, but not the kinds you want to win. That's all I'm saying. Okay, the Darwin's Olympics, I think. And it's an obvious issue. So he is looking to end the Department of Education, and he's picking some killer people. So I have the feeling that if he picked Linda McMahon to do it, then she's probably a great candidate to get the job done there. And he'll just have to drum up some support. He's clearly stated that I'm really willing to work with Congress on this and get it done as best we can. Let's see, what did he say? I said, I think I'd work with Congress. We'd have to work with the teachers unions because the teachers unions is the only one that's opposed to it. And that is a fact. They would love to continue to protect horrible educators and downright evil human beings that have tenure in their positions in the public education system. Just to my teachers listening, if you think this is a bad thing, I want you to understand something. In a private, a more privatized education world, like where maybe like several parents hired you to teach their children because they trust you and you know them and you're caring and you can do work in and out of their homes and you'll be paid what you're worth, which may be significantly more than what the government says you should be paid. Also, if we can stop paying all the people in the teachers unions that are just discussing Marxists, you'll also make more money. It's crazy. It's crazy how the private economy can work, where people are paid for what they're actually worth. And so, the bad teachers that you wonder about, like in your school, like, oh, that's a really bad teacher. They don't really care about their students at all. Yeah, you don't have to worry about them having a job anymore, and then you can have their salary. It's pretty much how this kind of thing works. Just to be clear, it's just so obvious and simple. Also, parents, feel free to feel empowered to pull your children out. We've done so many episodes on homeschooling, on private education, on the need for, no matter what you're doing, you have to be intimately involved with the education of your child because it's your God-given biblical responsibility. That, to say it again, seems like it's just ad nauseum. It is the truth. It's what we've said. Type education into the search bar on your podcast listener to this podcast, and you will receive several episodes to listen to.
I do love talking about it. And I mean, it's funny because the people that are so vocal against it, like, really aren't the most educated, no pun intended, on the topic itself. Like, I mean, like, I just had. I mean, this is happening literally in real time. You know, I reshared Robert Borton's post, as I often do. His post is, "You don't have a degree in teaching children to walk, but you did it. Teaching children to talk, but you did it. Why do you think you need a degree to educate them?" Which makes sense to me. And then Robert actually came on and commented, "I approve this message," which was pretty hilarious. but but one of our friends,
He's
he
pretty
says, "Oh,
based, bro. He's pretty based.
Robert's a good guy."
He is. He's a real good
Uh,
guy.
we've done a podcast with Robert, so you can
Yes,
actually
we
look that
have.
one up too.
You can search Robert Borkins and you will or Bortons and you will find him on.
Bork. It's not Borkins, it's
bro, bro, I'm not saying it again. I'm tired. Leave me alone.
Bork.
You could double my salary. It won't make me any less tired, okay? Because you double zero, still tired. I'm just tired.
But one of our friends commented, he says, "A lot of people don't retain the knowledge they haven't used since high school, and many are absolutely inept at science and mathematics. Most U.S. adults read below ninth grade level. There's a ceiling to most people being able to understand what they'd be teaching minds that are only learning it for the first time." Now, ironically, most U.S. adults read below a ninth grade level is not a really great poster for continuing public education or
I was going to say, that's because the public school system failed them.
yeah, so so my
He can
comment
edit.
was,
He can actually edit that. The public school system has declared that what was a previous ninth grade level is actually now a 12th grade level. So actually, all parents can read it at 12th grade level.
"These are the games we play, people." My comment back was, "This is ignorant. I'm teaching my kids English I've never been educated on. They get educated as well as I do. Statistics bear out the opposite of your position. Reality doesn't match the feels on this one." And it's like I homeschool. I love homeschooling. I'm a big homeschooling advocate, and by no means am I an expert. Certainly, there are people who have done it for longer. They've graduated children from homeschooling. I have not. I have not yet. But like, it's like an atheist thinking that they know more about the Bible than the Christian does. Like, you're gonna try to play this game, but like, you're just wrong. There are studies. There are studies of single moms who have dropped out of high school to raise their child, homeschooling in their limited time and opportunity, and giving their child a better education on standardized tests than public education, than children who are publicly educated with both parents in the household.
Yes, because one of the biggest things that a parent can give a child that the public school system will never be able to give them is the ability to think critically, and that is something that we
Or
know.
love, time, attention, and sacrifice.
Well,
Like, you
all
know
of
what I
those,
mean?
right? But all of those things, all of those things are the essential building blocks to understand how to think critically. Like
Right.
thinking critically requires those things. It puts you the basic fundamental understanding of critical thinking is to be able to put yourself fully into what you're trying to diagnose, right? And you can't do that without being nurtured in a way to think by someone who actually cares. It's not possible.
Right. And even if you give the most basic education ever, the fact that you're willing to invest that time and love into that child, there is no statistic for that. Like, there is no tangible metric for that. But yet we know that that's what children need. Like, everyone knows that children need parents who love them, right? Like, I mean, no one's going to say, "Oh, kids don't need that." Like, that would be, I've never met someone who thinks that, or at least would say that out loud. And yet and yet we advocate so so heartily for um giving kids over to strangers who are going to give them a substandard education, just because, what? Like, for what? Why are we advocating that? It's literally, it's the same thing as advocating for gender affirming healthcare, right? I'd use scare quotes nobody could see. When that gender affirming healthcare actually leads kids further into suicidality, it's the treatment is literally hurting kids. Like, the public education system is literally making kids stupider for way more money and literally any other option. Even the Catholic schools around here, if you're paying 10 or 12 grand a kid, you're paying less than half of what the state of New Jersey pays a year for a publicly educated child in New Jersey.
Yeah, just about a third, like almost a third of it's just over a third, and and I do that. I've readjusted my financial abilities to make sure I can do that, and I can guarantee what I will guarantee you is that the education my kids receive is substantially better than what's being done in a public school. Also, I'm intimately involved with my children. Like at no point, it doesn't matter. Again, it doesn't matter. Like Jesse homeschools his children. I have my kids in private education. They are both requiring sacrifices, and at no point in either of those processes can you decide as a parent that you will not be intimately engaged with the educating and raising of your child. You can't do that. The public school would like you to do that. Daddy government is trying to take your responsibility, which is to say, when they take your responsibility, you are now their slave. Don't give your responsibility to the government. It is your responsibility. Goodness freaking gracious. Sorry. This is what happens when Jesse starts talking about education, and then we get riled up, and then we start saying things. Jesse, it's my fault.
Sorry.
I take responsibility.
Sorry.
This is on me. This is on me. Also, in one of the best stories this week that makes everyone is losing their minds. The USAID has been.
Jeez, I forgot about this one too.
Oh my God. Jesse, it has barely been 2 weeks, bro. This place is going crazy.
We even recorded last week. We're not even like missing anything. This is just like normal life.
Yes.
Oh my word.
So the USAID is an organization that originally was designed to do good things in foreign countries. Now you're automatically probably saying like, "Hey, we probably could do some good things here in America." Well, I would just say don't rely on your government to do good things anywhere. One of the problems, I'll explain it like I'm five, right? Explain it like you're five. One of the problems with the U.S. government doing anything that's quote unquote a good thing, like the United States Agency for International Development, USAID, is they can do something like this. They can go to Africa and they can say, hey, it's probably a really good idea for us to go to Africa and fight AIDS. AIDS is the problem in Africa. We'll fight AIDS and we'll stop them from transmitting and having AIDS. Here's the problem. In Africa, do you know what's killing a lot of people more than AIDS? Simple digestive bowel issues kill people in Africa. And because you get so hyper-focused as a government on fixing a problem like AIDS, you are actually watching more people die because you're not actually solving other problems, like the more important ones that are actually not just lifestyle and volitional issues. So that's what happens when the government gets involved in things like these. Explaining it like I'm five. Additionally, an organization like the United States Agency for International Development becomes a giant slush fund for absolute idiocy, disgusting grossness that the certain parties can use to push their ideas and agendas forward without any repercussions, because the people, namely you and I paying taxes, have no idea what it's actually doing.
Right. Transparency in government is huge.
Yes.
And rare.
So like if I was like, you really care about sex changes and LGBTQ activism in Guatemala, right, Jesse?
No.
No, you don't think we should probably be spending
stopping it? Yes, we should stop it.
Oh, you don't think we should be spending $2 million to help sex changes and LGBT activism in Guatemala?
No.
Oh.
Never once actually have I thought that. I can say that with 110%.
Do you think America, Jesse? Do you think Egyptian tourism? Is that what you think when you think America? Egyptian tourism? No? You want to see pyramids? No. You don't think we should be spending $6 million?
I would love to see pyramids.
Do you think, but we should be, the American taxpayer should probably pay about $6 million to fund tourism in Egypt, right?
$6 million?
I'm not done yet.
Do you know what I could do with $6 million?
Now, here's a key thing.
I could rid AIDS in Africa.
In Iraq, what they really need. This is big because this helps to solve a lot of problems in Iraq. They need Ahlan Sim Sim.
What?
Did you know that?
What's that?
They need Ahlan Sim Sim. That is the $20 million expenditure from the American taxpayers on a Sesame Street show for Iraq.
Jeez Louise.
Oh. And you know what's a real problem over there in Elmo can't see outside of his hood again. I wonder what basement Elmo goes to.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, gee, why is my trash can up on this roof? Oscar, we're going to have to push you off the roof now. Wait, why? Anyway,
No, that's Bert and Ernie.
oh, gee, Bert, listen to me, because L is one of those dirty letters. So now we're gonna go for a short flight. I'm gonna stop. Anyway, $20 million.
That's insane.
There's a big problem, Jesse, that you didn't know about.
Saddam Hussein.
You didn't know about this big problem, Jesse. In Kazakhstan, they're struggling with combat disinformation, and by that I mean they need to combat disinformation in Kazakhstan. So we should probably spend about $4.5 million.
Man, are the Russians interfering with their elections too?
One of the real things that I found is sad is that there's a lot of Al Qaeda terrorist groups in the Nursa front that aren't getting the meals they need. So we spent $10 million on that.
Oh my gosh. Well, we know what happens when you give money to terrorists. They don't use it like how they should. I mean, New Jersey still has billions of unspent COVID money. You know what I mean? Like, see what I did there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Governor Murphy still hasn't spent all of his. I think he's going to be redoing his other mansion.
Oh my gosh.
This one's great.
How much did they pay for that rug? Did you see that news story a while back?
It was like six figures. Wasn't it six figures on a rug? It was some ridiculous amount.
Was the new
Well, you look up that. I can tell you that we spent $25 million to Deloitte, which is a giant international accounting weird firm. I have family members that work for Deloitte. In order to promote green transportation in Georgia. I know what you're thinking. The state? No, the country, Georgia, to promote green transportation. $25 million.
$25 million for what? What did you say? I was looking up the rug thing.
To the company Deloitte so they can promote green transportation in the country of Georgia.
Oh, not the state.
No, the country.
Oh, jeez Louise. By the way, that one rug was $100,000.
Yeah, 6 figures.
There was 3 rugs totaling $217,000.
Yes, I will guarantee you that got put under environmental protection and green initiatives because that's the only way to hide money.
$66,700 for curtains, $24,000 for sofas, $31,000 for
understand. Look,
events,
New Jersey,
$10,600 for a pair of chairs.
Hey, you've got to focus here. We know Murphy is a corrupt, disgusting person. But you didn't know that we needed to spend $1.5 million to rebuild the Cuban media ecosystem.
The Cuban media ecosystem?
Yes.
In the world?
Yes. And we needed to spend $2.1 million so the BBC could strengthen the media ecosystem in Libya, designed to value the diversity of Libyan society. That's what Libya needs.
The only way that would be justified is if that "Why are you gay" guy was on the news. I would pay $20 million for that. Why are you gay?
You are gay.
You are gay.
$2.3 million are on artisanal and small scale gold mining in the Amazon. $2.3 million.
What is artisanal gold mining?
Because I'm white, but we're spending
Is that like gold mining with like a charcuterie board and wine? Like what is artisanal gold mining?
No, it's like small scale for artistic crafters. $2.3 million.
Oh, like craft beer?
Yeah, only it's like
Gold.
A waste of money. $2.5 million to promote inclusion in Vietnam. $3.9 million to LGBT causes in Western Balkans.
I don't even know where that is.
$5.5 million to LGBT causes in Uganda. Are you noticing a pattern in
You
what
gotta
we're
be
getting
kidding
to?
me, man.
$6.3 million to men who have sex with men in South Africa. What's that really way to
What
even
made
say?
them so special?
Because, well, Jesse, remember what I said? One of the things that the government tries to cure in Africa?
AIDS.
$6.3 million to men who have sex with men in South Africa.
It makes more sense now.
Another $16.8 million to a separate group in Vietnam for quote unquote inclusion. This is insane. I have not read this whole list, actually. I've just read key points from the list. There's worse ones. I think we spent $1.7 million to diversify Serbia's workforce. I think we spent $34,000. These are small line items. $34,000 on the publishing of a LGBTQIA plus comic book in like Brazil. We funded a queer inclusive Broadway show in Ireland. Yes. So let me explain this to you like you're 5. This is horse crap and it's evil and your taxes should go to pay for it. And if you're 5, you already know this. So, yeah.
That's nuts. It is so nuts. Like, why can't they just translate our queer crap over into like Libyan? Why do we have to produce their own? Why do we have to produce their own crap?
Because we don't want to offend the Libyan LGBTQI plus community with our American influenced LGBTQIA plus community.
I can be gay in my own language. Like what? What does that even mean?
I thought chopping a penis off in America was the same as chopping a penis off in Uganda. I thought it did because apparently it's different. Apparently it requires different things. Same thing.
I don't even want to know.
You gotta slice the sausage. And you
Slap
take
that in the category of things I don't want to know.
Well, no, these are things that we didn't know that we needed to know so that now that we can know them and stop doing them. Now, this just to be clear, yes, Doge found this out. Also, just want to be clear, Doge works for the executive branch. It is not special. It doesn't have powers. At any point, the president can stop Doge from doing anything and doesn't have to do anything that Doge suggests they do. Just want to be clear on it. Elon Musk is not running anything. At any point, he can be fired with zero recompense. He is not receiving money to do this. Also, it's freaking awesome.
Rand Paul has been trying to do this for years.
Yes, Rand Paul's got to be over there, like he's just sitting there, and he's just like probably like slow clapping all day. He's just clapping. Like, how long have I been saying we can't do this? My gosh, they've been just like other things. Just like sidebar, like the CIA spends like $1,000 on cups. Like one paper cup costs $100. Like, how's that happen? I don't know. Buildings that they're not using, like the IRS and places where people are working remotely, where they're still spending $20,000 a month on disgusting Starbucks flavored K cups, and you're like, why? No one's there. They only have a 7% of workforce showing up to work. Yeah, no one knows. I wonder why. Where's this money going? Who is it paying off? We don't know. We have no idea. But here's the thing about a giant bloated government budget. If they don't spend it, they don't get to get it next time. So they have to spend it so that they can get the money. So, ew. How about no? How about you don't? How about no?
Yeah. And they're not. And you know what? People for the next 4 years will continue to lose their minds over our government spending less money.
Yeah, until there's a 30-page document on line items. There's going to be a 30-page front and back document with the line items of over gross expenditures from the government, and then everyone's going to get a copy, and we all get to read it, and we all get to say, what the heck has been going on for the past 60 years in this country? How did we not know this? It's funny. You'd think we'd figure it out. What exactly do they need 28% of all of the money that we earn for? Exactly. Please tell me. Why is it 1/3 of the money that I work for they take? That's so curious. I'd like to know why. Why is that? What are they doing with it?
And now we are starting to know.
Yeah.
And you know what? It doesn't make it any better.
It really doesn't. And yeah. So anyway,
Because
more
we're
of
never
this.
getting the money back.
And while none of you are 5, hopefully now you have some clarity so that when you get carried off by every wind of insane controversy in social media, you can have a second, take a second, and remember EILI5. Explain it like I'm 5, because they don't understand. People don't understand.
I thought you were trying to misspell Eagles again, and I'm like, you misspelled Eagles wrong, like that,
No.
like the mayor of Philadelphia.
EGLSES. Yes, you know what's funny is I saw so many signs because I hadn't seen that story yet, and I saw so many signs around here because so many signs. Just in case you don't know, there's Philadelphia area takes our fandom pretty seriously about the Eagles.
We made it onto the Philly Christmas special.
Did we?
Yeah, he and there and Santa Claus is coming to town.
Oh yeah, and South Jersey. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of signs. All those signs with message boards on them, and lots of them say "Go Birds" and "Go Eagles." But so many of them just immediately saw that clip and misspelled Eagles. And for like half a day, I couldn't figure out like what is going on. And then I saw the clip, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, that's so awesome! Everybody is awesome." Anyway, thank you for listening to us rant randomly about the Eagles, and also Go Birds as they play this Sunday. Fly Eagles Fly on the road to victory. And if we're depressed next week, I'm kidding, we're not. It's just sports, but we'll talk about it. And by then there'll be more news, more insane news to talk about. And I just want you to be able to keep your head above water, be sane. Remember, there's objective truth, and by the grace of God, because His truth is there, because God is, we're able to talk about these things in ways that actually make sanity out of the insaneness.
And you know what you shouldn't do? You shouldn't get too angry at people being stupid on the internet. You can always delete Facebook. And you know
Absolutely.
what? Life will 110% continue on without you.
Yeah, one of the hardest
things on Facebook. On Facebook, I was not trying to advocate.
Yeah. Oh gosh, no. Yeah.
No. That's not what I was saying.
That's not what we were saying. No.
Yeah, no. I was saying like without you on Facebook.
Social media is not real life. So like, and always remember, as you're seeking to cast pearls of wisdom and salvation into the world, into the culture, to people, that as you're casting them, you really want to be careful not to cast them before swine. And that's a key feature of the internet, to not do that. We're not supposed to do that. You don't have to argue with the person that hates you and God and will continue to hate you and God. It's God saves, not you. Remember that. Whew. Anyway, this has been another episode of the Carpe Fide podcast. We did a week's worth of news and literally 10 billion posts of social media in an hour. So you're welcome. And go Birds. And, I hope you this very day would
seize the face.
You weren't ready. You were laughing.
I was right. I'm like, well, you were like stalled and trying to like figure out how to get it back into the normal thing. All right. Let's just pretend none of that happened.
We're gonna end. This is just one. This is happening. I know this is happening twice, in 3 years, but this is a rare. Just you don't know this. The Eagles don't go to the Super Bowl. Okay, this isn't a thing. So I think on this episode, can't we just end this with a Eagles fight song? Can we do it this one time?
I'm not singing the whole fight song.
Come on, just once. All right, fine. That's fine. We hope you this day, dear Christian, would seize the faith.
faith.
Go Birds.